Oh, this is Hamster Combat, one of the most popular mini apps on Telegram. Yeah, the messaging app, Telegram. In 7 months, this game gained over 300 million players. Those in India and Indonesia are the most active, and they're attracted by the chance to earn some money while playing, thanks to the technology behind it, the same that supports cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin. So let me show you why this crypto game and others like it are causing such excitement among investors and developers and players. Here's your Moniify Playbook. So what exactly is a crypto game? There's 2 things you need to know. The first is that they use a blockchain to trade in-game items like skins or weapons, and to track and eventually cash out any rewards that players earn, like coins. Remember that a blockchain is like a shared notebook. It's considered more secure and trustworthy because everyone has access to the record of entries and transactions made on chain, and no one can change that information without a majority noticing and agreeing first. Blockchain-based games, whether console, browser, or mobile, are part of the next evolution of the internet, called Web3, which allows users to customize and manage their data in privacy. So here's the second thing that you need to know. These games allow developers to integrate crypto directly into their gaming economies. And crypto games have become a very simple way to show people how Web3 works. And that's why development and investment is growing. So much so that in 2023, the Web3 gaming industry was valued at $26 billion. Let's take a closer look at Hamster Combat and see how it actually works. It's a very simple game. You tap, get coins, tap, get coins. But there's more to it than that. You see, you're not just a hamster, you're a CEO, and your job is to grow your hamster's crypto exchange. The more coins or hamster tokens you earn, the more access you have to passive income streams within the app. And the more tokens you have, the more real cash that you could have later on.
So I'm going to receive this 9,336 Naira for 5.5724 USDT. And then I click on sell.
This game mechanic is called play to earn. Players can also trade in-game items. It's great for users, and its simplicity is part of its popularity. Hamster Combat is just one of the many growing number of blockchain-based games out there. But what do the game developers get out of this? Well, one way that they make money is by selling ads in-app, like any other game. And Telegram actually shares additional ad revenue with the team for having the most subscribed to Telegram channel. But the main way that its creators plan to create value is from the hamster token that would appreciate as more and more users play the game. So they've basically monetized their community, and it's the community of players that makes or breaks a Web3 game. Currently, investment opportunities from Web3-focused VCs and game studios lie in communities, especially ones with strong crypto familiarity, like in Asia and Africa. Half of the world's video game players are from Asia, making the region a natural favorite for Web3 games. An established gaming market, high crypto adoption rates, and the passive income incentive has helped Web3 games make some deep inroads in the region.
Many of the developing countries actually are more focused around the earning potential of the game, whereas in the more developed countries, it's much more about whether the game is fun and entertaining.
For many countries, Web3 games were more about financial freedom during its early days. In places like Southeast Asia and Africa, play-to-earn models have offered main sources of income for some. One game in particular, called Axie Infinity, really kicked off the whole play-to-earn and trading phenomenon back in 2018. In fact, 40% of Axie Infinity players came from the Philippines back in its heyday. To better understand the earning mechanics, I spoke to Filipino gamer Carl Joshua, who told us that the highest he ever earned out of these games was about $700 a month.
40,000 is the highest, and 5,000 is the lowest.
Even at Axie Infinity's height, beginners could only expect to earn around $10 a day, which is a typical salary for workers in the Philippines. So while interest in the game has since fallen away, there is now a second wave of casual games in Web3, like Telegram mini apps that has renewed investor appetite. So if you're a game developer or investor that wants to jump into the world of Web3 games, I would look into games targeting users based in India, Indonesia, Nigeria, and the Philippines. Now, let's see what role Telegram has to play in all this.
With Telegram, 900 million users will probably cross 1 billion monthly active users within a year from now.
If you combine this massive user base with the Web3 gameplay, you can see why uptake has been so quick. The blockchain associated with the messaging app is called TON, which stands for the Open Network. And games on Telegram's TON chain grew a whopping 320% in the third quarter of 2024, led by games like Hamster Combat, but also newer ones like Banana.
The TON network came because of the speed in the blockchain compared to any other blockchain. So it is easier to interact with compared to the other networks like the Ethereum network and the Solana network.
And this is all good for the developers. I mean, it makes sense to go where the users already are. And with 6 million monthly active TON wallets, there is major untapped potential there for Telegram to be the gateway to mainstream blockchain adoption. And it isn't going unnoticed. Okay, venture capitalists pumped $1 billion into the Web3 gaming space in April of 2024. That's the biggest single month investment since January of 2021.
Biggest advantages for VCs, I would say high ROI. If their investment is successful, they will be claiming a very high ROI over. If they buy in at a game with a valuation of $1 million, and in 3 or 4 years that game's valuation is of $200 million, that's their advantage.
While history has shown that the bet could go either way, some are confident that the future of gaming will be written on the blockchain. And that's why investors want to be front and center for that transformation. The MENA region, particularly the UAE, is poised to drive growth in Web3 gaming with an increasing number of investment funds and companies located there. And this investment uptick has sparked mainstream interest. Big gaming studios like Ubisoft and Sony are developing their own Web3 games because they don't want to fall behind new players in the space. However, not everyone is jumping into Web3. Japanese game developer Sega once supported Web3 games, but now calls them boring. And I have to admit, what's the point of a video game if it isn't fun, right?
Telegram has really grown the space tremendously, and that's because before, many of the platforms like Apple and Steam have not allowed Web3 games to launch on their platform. Hundreds of millions of users have joined Web3 for things like Gamey or Hamster Combat, that kind of stuff. And it's, I think, going to drive mass adoption over the next 12 to 18 months.
While Telegram's potential as a distribution platform is huge, the question now is, will the hype die down? Or will it continue? Dubai-based VC firm New Tribe Capital cautions that most Web3 games die before they even get off the ground. Why? Because they rely too heavily on token prices for revenue. New Tribe advises investors to look for games with diversified revenue streams. So that means in-game transactions, secondary sales, and tokens that provide real value. Web3 gaming is growing, but it's still risky and has had its booms and busts before. Remember we mentioned Axie Infinity? Well, player count peaked at 2.7 million in January of 2022. But today, it only averages around 300,000 players per month. That's quite the drop. Then there's added uncertainty after Telegram CEO Pavel Durov was indicted in France in 2024 for the failure to curb the spread of illegal content on the platform. And critics are also concerned about how sustainable crypto game economies can truly be. Still, the money speaks for itself, and Web3 game development is inevitable. So will you be jumping in on this? Here's your complete Moniify Playbook with key terms, venture capital firms, Web3 game developers, and distribution platforms. Links to all of the information and companies are in the description below. And now I want to know, after hearing all this, would you invest in Web3 gaming this time around? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep up with the Moniify Playbook.